Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's session. My name is Iskia, and I am one of the event planners for the Redmond Reactor Space. Before we get started, I've got a few things to go over, so if you could please take a moment to read our Code of Conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We encourage engagement in the chat, but please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. Useful links will be shared throughout the chat, and this session will be recorded and it'll be available on demand on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel within 24 to 48 hours, which brings us to today's session. It's scheduled to run approximately 90 minutes, and there will be time for questions throughout. And we will now turn it over to our speakers.
I think it's the future.
It's a movement.
It's exciting.
Inventing smart solutions.
Automating complex processes.
Changing the world.
Life-changing.
Innovation.
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 Innovative.
Oh, that's a good one.
Building something new.
Creativity.
Creativity.
Trial and error.
I think explosion.
Putting me on the spot here.
Empowering.
Empowering.
Helping empower people.
Empowering and inspiring all.
Seeing the impact it has on real people.
Impact.
Seeing its social impact.
I love how you can make a positive impact.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Imagine Cup Kickoff, the first event of the Student Innovator Series. It was an amazing look at some of our past competitors, thinking about technology, what it looks like to build. Really excited to be here with you all today to kick off the Imagine Cup and explain to you how to get started on your competition journey. I'm really thrilled to be here with you today to embark on this exciting journey of innovation, creativity, technology, share with you about what the 2025 competition is going to look like this year, hear about how you can get started on ideation, Founders Hub benefits, and then also exploring the numerous AI services that we have as part of the Microsoft Cloud. For those that don't know me, my name is Ali Schumacher. I am the Imagine Cup Global Director, and really, again, very excited to be here with you all today. To get a little bit into the competition overview, I'm going to explain a little bit about what this year's competition is going to look like, and then we are going to cut to another short video to hear a little bit more about how students how they see the Imagine Cup. And then we have the opportunity to have some awesome panelists, some previous Imagine Cup semifinalists and finalists with us here today to get further into what the competition looks like, what are the benefits, how they position themselves up for success. So for awareness, the 2025 Imagine Cup, this is the premier global technology competition for student founders who are turning their innovative ideas into market-ready startups. And over the years, this competition has really inspired thousands of students from around the world, pushing the boundaries of what's possible and really creating solutions that make an impact. Some really exciting features to announce this year. We are starting with an optional idea submission round. And this is where we really want you to get into what's that problem that you want to solve, who's that target customer, really making sure that you have that viability from the start. Then after you've worked on that, this is an optional round, but it's an amazing opportunity to submit that idea. You'll hear actually from Nikki a little bit later talking about how to get started with that idea and using Lean Canvas as a framework to do that. After you think through your idea, you'll move on to developing your minimum viable product, or as many have heard, MVP. And so that's really this first version of your product, and you'll tell us what you've built, how it works. You'll demo that to us, and you'll pitch to us pre-recorded as if you were pitching live to judges or investors. And then a select number from the MVP round will move on to semifinals, where you really have that opportunity to continue to refine your idea. You'll have the opportunity to pitch that live, show your demo off to a panel of judges, increase the amount of benefits, particularly from a mentorship standpoint, as well as expert, both business and technical guidance. And then that all culminates in our World Championship round, where we have our top 3 teams competing for our $100,000 prize money and the mentorship session with Microsoft Chairman and CEO Satya Nadella. And we've really painted this journey here for you as a way for you to move, scale, and grow from figuring out what it is, that problem that you're most passionate about and that idea that you really want to bring to market, with clear target customers and ways for you to ensure that what you're working on is viable from the start, moving into developing that MVP, particularly with the technical benefits that we offer, and then continuing to compete and grow and scale and culminate that in the World Championship with global recognition and mentorship along the way. So we're going to cut to a short video, hear a little bit more about, you've seen what the 2025 competition looks like. Let's hear a little bit of sentiment, some from some past competitors in a video, and then I'm excited to introduce our panelists.
Definitely opportunity.
A learning opportunity.
I think it's a learning experience.
As innovation in its purest form.
Impactful.
Emotional. I always fight back tears every year.
Breaking boundaries.
Exciting.
Technology.
The best week of my job.
Breathtaking.
Inspiring.
Inspiring.
Magic Cup is inspiring the world for change.
Be brave, be confident.
You made your vision into reality.
You've got this.
You got this.
And just be so proud of yourselves.
Good luck to everyone this year.
Good luck. All the best.
Best of luck to this year's competitors. You're all already winners in creating an amazing, inspiring product and bringing it to the Imagine Cup.
Awesome. So I'm thrilled to welcome our panelists for today to get into a little bit more about what the competition is, what their process was like, give you some nuggets and helpful tips to think about as you all start your competition journey. So I'm here with Hamad, Aliyah, and Karthik. And so I'd love for each panelist, and we'll just go in the order of the slide. So Hamad, Aliyah, and then Karthik. Can you start by telling us, first off, where you're from, and then a brief description about your startup and what inspired your startup? So Hamad, we'll start with you.
All right, sure. So my name's Hamad Anwar, and I'm currently from Pakistan. And the startup that I pitched in Imagine Cup 2024 was ScienceSati. Now, ScienceSati was basically an application to allow ease of access of sign language learning. And the basic idea behind it was that you'd be able to take any prompt, text, audio, or image and convert it to its sign language. And in order to learn sign language better, you also had a practice feature where you would be able to learn the sign languages that you were learning over time. And the motivation behind this idea was basically that the access of resources for sign language learning were quite limited in remote areas as well as underserved areas such as Pakistan. And we felt like there was a need to have some technology that could enable the people here as well to be more included to this environment as well. So that was basically our idea.
Awesome. Thanks, Hamad. Aliyah, we'll move on to you.
Hi, I'm Aliyah. I'm from the United States. My startup plan roadmap is using AI to help people manage their ADHD. And it was largely inspired by my own personal struggles with ADHD and also hundreds of conversations with ADHD coaches, people with ADHD, researchers in the field. So yeah, excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Aliyah. And Karthik, we'll move on to you.
Hey guys, I'm from a small university town called Manipal, which is in India. Fun fact, Satya Nadella also studied in Manipal. So for the Imagine Cup 2024, I had debuted my startup Appease. So Appease essentially is an educational co-pilot for universities. We developed a complete solution for universities to be able to manage their student resources as well as their faculty resources. We provided accessibility to students on campus through our co-pilot. The inspiration for building this copilot came from an existing non-profit venture which we started in Manipal, through which we used to provide academic resources to students. So we decided to scale it up to a much bigger level and to include Azure AI and other features into it to make it a better experience for students.
Awesome. Thanks, Karthik. So we'll move on to the first question that I have for you, which is about the ideation process, as this is really the first step that our competitors are starting on. And after this panel, we have the privilege of hearing from someone from the Microsoft Incubation Studio talking about the incubation process and talking about Lean Canvas. And so we know it's really critical to define that problem and your target customer before jumping into solutioning and developing your MVP. And as I was just sharing before the panel, we have this new optional idea round where teams will be asked to complete a Lean Canvas and submit that for a chance to win mentorship with an industry expert and get that feedback on their idea. And so I'd love to hear whoever would like to jump in and start. How did you and your team really come up with the idea from the start, and what did that ideation process look like? I know each of you shared a tiny bit, but for someone to go in a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I can start with that. So originally our idea was very different from what it is now. And our ideation process would look like our team would meet weekly. We talk about our interests. It was really focused on like what were we looking at the time, and then learning technologies and building out a solution. But as we kept going and learning more, we realized that we started talking to more people, and we realized that our solution that we made didn't help the people that we were trying to help. And so we just had more conversations instead of focusing so much on building, and that's what led us to our current idea, where it's a lot more validated from the people we're trying to help. We're directly from the conversations where we're testing it out with them. So it really evolved from us, just thinking, what were we interested in? As a student, you have a unique position to see a lot of problems that a lot of people don't see and don't know how to solve. And so you being in that position and tapping into your unique, advantages is really what we leverage to find a unique solution and create our startup.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaliyah. Karthik or Hamad, any different approach or something to add here?
So yeah, I'll just add from what I had said earlier. So essentially, we came up with the idea of Appease from what we had built already in Manipal, which was that entire organization for academic management. So essentially, we found certain issues in how universities manage their academic resources. These were the issues which we wanted to fix, or we wanted to focus on through Appease. And we found a very strong support in using the Microsoft ecosystem to be able to fix these issues. So that was also a major reason why we participated in the Imagine Cup, so that we could demonstrate to Microsoft as well as the organizers of this competition just how capable the ecosystem is to solve these kind of problems. Then after that, we started looking into, I think generative AI had just become super popular around that time when we started Appease, and we thought that we must try to figure out a way to use the capabilities of generative AI. So that is how we basically ideated our Copilot as well as our system software for universities.
Yeah. Awesome.
So in terms of our ideation, what happened was that it was our summer break, and me and my partner Heather at the time wanted to work on a project together. We were kind of free. We were thinking of what could we work on together that would be impactful. And one day Heather went to a restaurant, and there was one of the workers was basically deaf. And it kind of sparked an idea at that time that why don't we work on an idea that targets people that haven't been able to be included in a current environment in the same level as other people normally are. So during the summer break, we initially started this idea, and we first of all created a team, and we again did weekly meetings every day, and we would kind of talk on what exactly is the problem. We went to communities that were deaf. We tried to understand what their problem exactly was, and that basically led to creation of Science RT.
I love all of these examples, real life examples of you going out, talking to customers, really understanding what that problem is. I think you'll really see that in Nikki, or how everyone will see that in Nikki's presentation in just a bit about Lean Canvas and that process. So it's awesome to hear that. Next theme that I want to move on to is around AI technology. And so Microsoft provides powerful AI tools through Azure AI at no cost to competitors with the Microsoft for Startups Founders Hub, which is an incredible benefit for competitors. And so you'll hear later about what Founders Hub is, how to activate those benefits, or really what the benefits are. And we actually have another session later in the series about how to activate those benefits. And then also ways to really start bringing AI into your solution and how Microsoft really has the platform to do that. And then again, this year, teams are required to use at least one Azure AI service in their solution, in their MVP that they submit to Imagine Cup. And so I'm curious from our panelists today, how did you think about how to bring in AI and specifically Microsoft's AI services into your product and really identifying what to use and how that would accelerate your solution?
So, well, in our case, I started. So in our case, it was that how we can use AI to basically help in generation of avatars, as well as trying to make the practice functionality more intuitive for users. So we use AI to help generate the avatars that would perform the sign languages. And we also use it to help sort of interpret whether the person who was performing the sign was performing them correctly or not. So that was the place where we used the AI services.
Yeah, so we primarily used generative AI in our solutions. So we started off using, actually we started APIs well before we came to know about the Imagine Cup. So initially we were using student credits, which I guess is a good shout out to university students, that there's student credits as well, which you can use for building your solutions. So we started off using the student credits. We made use of all of the foundation, most of the foundation models, which is there on the Azure AI Studio. So the really good thing about the Azure AI Studio is that the moment a new foundation model came out, it would almost always be available generally for, at least for the competitors of the Imagine Cup at the very least, to be able to try it out and test it out. So basically we were working at the cutting edge of foundation models. As to why we used generative AI allows you to create insights out of unstructured information very easily. So if we have unstructured information, like database related information on our portal, it allows professors and administrators who are not very familiar with code to get insights out of that information very quickly and act on that. So that really helped the students who would be benefited by this particular thing.
We also were big into using generative AI, and Azure, with the resources they gave us, enabled us to build without any limitations on the actual building process. So it allowed us to focus a lot more on ideation. And specifically, we looked a lot into security and privacy. And that's something that Microsoft Azure really helped us with as we were developing our AI software in a way that was safe and that we could build up trust with the people that we were trying to help and manage their data. So that really helped build credibility and a strong foundation to our tool.
Yeah, thanks all. Yeah, you'll definitely, for the audience, you'll hear a lot more of these themes a little bit later too in the demos that we have for you within Azure AI Studio. Just that entire platform we have, Aaliyah, the points that you made around security, incredible. So really positioning startups well for being able to build for success and in a secure way with AI. So I'll move on to just talking around submission requirements, but also this aspect around pitching your idea. And so as I was sharing earlier, after teams have figured out this idea, they start working on that MVP, and that MVP deadline is January 22nd, 2025 for this year's competition. And so for everyone's awareness of what is an MVP, it's that functional version of your idea that's ready to demo to judges, and it includes sufficient features and functionality to satisfy those early adopters. And this year, teams are required to submit a pitch deck, a recorded video of their pitch, and a recorded demo video. And you can find all of this information in our official rules and regulations that are now published. And then also new this year too, all semifinalists will undergo a deep dive technical review conducted by Microsoft experts, which will also help point you in the best direction for the benefits that you claim for the technical help and continue to refine your solution. But as we think about that semifinals process and refining that pitch and demo, what were the top things that you three kept in mind to highlight, knowing that your pitch and your demo had to be short and sweet and to the point? And so thinking about that, what advice do you have for others as they build out a pitch deck and then their actual pitch and a short demo?
I think in our case, one of the major things that we looked in our pitch was to make it feel more impactful and sort of connect with the person we are presenting to. So that's one of the things that we aimed on. And obviously you have to make sure that your presentation isn't too wordy or too boring, where the person speaking will get bored out in the first few minutes. And also make sure you have all of the stats and relevant information given so that it's complete.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
that's
others add here.
yeah. Yeah, so I think the biggest challenge Apris had was the breadth of our product was pretty vast, where it would be difficult to communicate it very effectively in the time frame given. So what is really important for, I feel, for future competitors is to be able to condense what they are building in that time frame, which you have to use to submit the pitch video and the slide deck. So here, what's really important is, making sure that you communicate your solution, the impact of your solution. That's very important, as Hamad said, as well as, making sure that the optics around the solution is right, that, everyone understands and appreciates your solution within that time frame. So that's really what's important when it comes to the pitch.
For our submission, one of the most important things that we made sure to highlight is really more of the market validation. And it's something that we had to put conscious effort, because as engineers and most people watching, you love building, you love making solutions, working with technology, which isn't a bad thing, but it can bias you into making very complex solutions. But we had to remind ourselves that at the end of the day, it's about the market, the people. And so we really tried to highlight that validation, where even if you build an MVP, just having 3 random people test it, maybe even people is more validation. And just viewing everything as risk. Like when you read that rubric, you want to think about, are you pitching in a way that's reducing the risk? If someone were to give you money, funding, would they give you funding because you've talked to different people and they've said, yes, I've had this problem and this MVP is beginning to solve it? So really just trying to still keep your love for building in mind, but also realize how that can bias you to technology and focus on validation, talking to people and bridging that gap and really highlighting that. I found that really helped differentiate us when we were pitching the judges.
Awesome. Yeah, as you were speaking, Leah, I was thinking about the judging criteria and knowing that viability is a huge chunk of that. And I think when everyone here in the audience goes into our new judging criteria, I think you'll see there is this connection between, obviously there's the AI technology and in bringing that innovative solution forward, but there is this piece in terms of balancing with how making sure you focus on viability, but knowing that you are building for your customer, you're keeping your customer in mind and thinking about what that overall market is that you're really going after. And then, of course, continuing to build inclusively is a piece of our judging criteria as well. Well, awesome. Thank you so much to our three panelists. I am going to close the panel and move on to some of our awesome content that we have to come. But just to one last question for you all. So anything that you all haven't shared from your Imagine Cup experience that you want to make sure the audience here knows about, or in another way, what advice would you give to students who are considering joining this year's competition?
I would say just build a good team, first of all. It's a really good team is always a really important factor when you're, taking part in these competitions. And obviously, it's important that you work on something that you're passionate for, because obviously that's what brings you motivation to build it. And yeah, just when you're building it, just try to have some fun as well. That's what it's like.
I'd say huge advice is to look at the Imagine Cup as an opportunity for something that you want to accelerate or push forward. Where the Imagine Cup experience was amazing for like just our startup. Where right now I'm still working on our startup. We have paying customers. We're talking to our users, and that's a testament to how much Microsoft Cup has accelerated us. Where people are still emailing us talking about how they saw us in Microsoft Build. And so it has enabled us to use Microsoft Cup to do something that is something we want to do long term. And so that's just very unique to have that, where it can be a competition, but it can also be something that furthers your personal goals and ambitions and passions. And that's really what it enabled me to do. So definitely see that opportunity and try to make that happen.
I think what the Imagine Cup gives you the opportunity to do is to really explore the vast expanse of Microsoft technology, where there are so many different technologies which Microsoft is working on through Azure and through open source as well. So those who are developers here who are looking to enter into the Imagine Cup, I think this is a really good opportunity for you to really check out what Microsoft is doing in open source and in technology and in AI as well. So, and the ability to get credits through Founders Hub, through student credits, even boosts your capability of building complete production ready solutions to pitch and maybe even win the Imagine Cup.
Awesome. Thank you again to all of our panelists. Really appreciate you all taking the time to share this incredible wisdom with our competitors for this year. So again, thank you. And now we're going to cut to a short video to see where one team is now. And then we'll hear from Nikki on the ideation framework, Lean Canvas.
My name is Charu Thomas. I'm the CEO of Ox, which is formerly known as Oculogics, and we were second place winners at the Microsoft Imagine Cup 2017.
Team Oculogics, before we come and see your presentation, we're going to learn a little bit more about your project now.
At Ox, what we do is we build fulfillment automation tools for frontline operators to excite, engage, and empower the workforce in stores and warehouses to do more in less time. So we help enterprise and mid-market retail and 3PLs be more effective and efficient. And in fact, our technology is deployed in facilities that do over $600 million in cumulative order volume annually. It's been an incredible journey. We've raised over $3.5 million in venture funding and scaled to a team of 24 full-time employees. The Microsoft Imagine Cup was such a great jumping off point. The whole dream was to be able to get our technology in real people's hands and to help real people do their jobs better. And so it's pretty mind-boggling, honestly, to kind of think of all the things that are supported by the technology that we've built. It's been amazing.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here today, Allie. I'm Nikki Freeman. I'm a director in the Office of the CTO. I've been at Microsoft for 5 years in strategy, incubation, and partnership roles. I'm very excited to talk to you today about the Lean Canvas framework. This is an exercise that I've done with lots of internal incubation teams. I think it's a really great way to help connect all of the moving pieces together as you take your work from a product idea to a business. Now looking on the next slide, we can do a quick overview of the Lean Canvas. One of the things that I really like about it is I think it's a really great communication tool. It's a way to quickly get all of your ideas out on one page and have them organized in a way that you can share with other people to communicate how you think your product idea is a business and getting that holistic view. A lot of times I work with engineering teams that are very focused on making this technical breakthrough, and doing this exercise is a great way to kind of think more broadly and strategically about your product and how it actually has a viable solution to solve a problem for a customer. And the third benefit that I think is really important is that it helps you identify gaps in logic and assumptions you may have made. As we go through the Lean Canvas, you'll see that how all the different pieces connect together. And it's a great way to see this is where I've made an assumption about a customer's priorities and how do I validate that as I actually build in the next phase. The Lean Canvas was something that's been adapted from Ash Mariah from the very popular Business Canvas, which was created by Alexander Osterwald. It uses the same 9 concept box framework. Walking through how to actually complete the Lean Canvas, it's something that's very quick. Spend about 15 to 20 minutes just filling out the canvas. So that's only 2 minutes per box. It's a great way to get all your ideas out quickly and then go back and refine. Take a look and connect the dots between the different boxes and iterate on where did I make a jump in logic? Where did I miss something? Where do I need to add as another consideration? And then share your Lean Canvas with others. Presenting your Lean Canvas to trusted friends and partners and getting feedback on it is a great way to hold up a mirror to your idea. Where are you making a jump in logic that you realize as you're presenting your business idea to someone else? And then go back and iterate on your Lean Canvas again after getting that feedback from others in your communities. And then finally, I think the Lean Canvas is a great thing to do at several different points as you're building your business. For example, if you're doing it now at the ideation stage, it's a great way to go from thinking about the different features to thinking about how do I design this as a business, and then what do I need to validate during the MVP stage. And then after you've done your MVP, where you've actually talked to a customer and worked directly with 1 or 2 customers to put this product together, you'll have so much more information that you can go back to your original Lean Canvas and understand the differences from what you thought was going to be your customer touch points to what you're actually hearing from customers of what they need after you've done your MVP. So it's a great way to quickly summarize all the things you've learned from one stage to the next and see how your business is progressing and making sure that you're validating the past assumptions that you've made. So it's definitely something I recommend doing multiple times as you grow and do different stages of the product development cycle. Now I'll jump into walking you through how to think about the Lean Canvas and the different questions that you should ask yourselves, and give some examples of how to do an analysis between the different boxes and think about how these all connect together. So starting up in the left-hand corner is your most important, your problem. What is the issue that customers are having? What is the need that they have that you have identified, and a problem that needs to be solved? And what are the jobs to be done to solve that problem? You'll often want to then rank your problem in priority. So in Incubation Studio, we really like to focus on rack problems. If you have a dent in your car, you're going to fix that, but you might not fix it tomorrow. It's a dent. You can still drive around with that. But if you find a rat in your house, you're going to call someone and you're going to fix that immediately. So it's a great idea to list out your problem and then think about, is this a priority for my customer? That's going to give you a shorter adoption cycle, and there'll often be a higher willingness to pay for something that causes them a lot of pain. And then you also need to think about your existing alternatives. how is a customer currently solving this issue? What are the competing products out there in the market already? How much are customers spending in money and time to address the problem that you've identified? Having a problem is very important because it makes sure that you're building something that someone needs and you're not building something that's tech for tech's sake. Who are the people that this problem affects? Those are that's your customer segment on the left-hand side of the canvas. Deeply list out all the customer segments that have this problem and what are the different defining characteristics of them. What industries are they in? What geographies are they in? Are they large or small? Is this a problem that affects only big companies, or is this something that only small companies are experiencing? What's their age range if you're doing something that's consumer, gender? How do you address these specific customer segments? And then finally, after you've listed out your customer segments, which one do you want to target first? Those are going to be your early adopters, and what are the characteristics that those customers have? After you've identified your problem and your customers, what's your unique value proposition? This is the heart of the canvas. What is your differentiation? How does what you're building stand out from the current existing alternatives? And why would the people in your customer segment choose your product? And then looking from your value proposition to your solution, what are the key features in your product that you've identified will help address your problem? The best way to fill out the solution box is to talk to the customers and the customer segments. They're the ones experiencing the problem. They can tell you how they would fix it, what they care about in terms of the problem being solved. You can't build a solution in a box. As some of the panelists talked about, it's really important to get out there and talk to customers and the people who are experiencing this problem. And then looking from your solution to the channels. The channels are how you reach your customers. How do you reach them via email, social, articles, blogs, and webinars? There's lots of different ways to reach your customers. What are your channels to get connected to them? And then what are your channels to deliver your product? How do your customers want to experience this product? And then moving to the next area, what's your channels to support your customers? Are they a very tech savvy group? Or are they that can use a self-service platform? Or do they expect more hands-on customer service? So this is a great way to think about, after you've outlined your customer segments and your channels and your solutions, going back and making sure that these all connect together in a way that makes sense. So if the early adopters you've identified are young people 15 to 24, but you don't have a mobile channel, that's something you might need to evaluate and change. Or for example, if the customer segment you're going after is not very technologically savvy, you might need to have more hands-on customer support in your channel. So making sure that you go back and connect the boxes together and understand how they're linked and where you may need to add or adapt or change things. And then moving from the channel to the revenue stream in the bottom right-hand corner, what are the primary sources for revenue? How is your unique value proposition going to earn revenue for your business? Is this going to be direct revenue or indirect revenue? And what's your timeline for revenue? This is another way to think about if my customer segment, if my revenue model, for example, that I plan to deliver is subscription, but my customer segment that I'm addressing only uses vendor licensing for their vendors. How am I going to help my customer segment transition into a different transaction model? When you're interviewing your customers to build the solution and get an ideation for the solution, make sure you're asking them questions about their transaction model to verify that assumption that you've made. So that's another example of how to connect. This is the revenue stream to my customer segment. Does this revenue stream adapt with how they currently are doing business? And then thinking about the cost structure. This box definitely connects the revenue stream. They're at the bottom, making sure that where you've outlined how you want to earn revenue is actually connected to the cost on the other side of the box. So how much are your channels going to cost? How much investment do you need in headcount to build your product? What are the COGS involved in your product? The cost structure is one of the examples of why it's so important to redo the lean canvas after every stage of the product development. I've had so many incubation teams list out every single cost they have. Then after they actually build their MVP with their customers, they realize there's so many different hidden costs that they didn't realize before. So going back and redoing the canvas is a great way to see where may I not have anticipated a different aspect of my business. And then connecting that cost structure to your unique value proposition box. So this is how I've outlined my differentiation. What are the different costs that I'm going to have to deliver that differentiation? And then moving from the cost structure to your key metrics. What do you need to measure, not only on the revenue side, but also on the cost side, to make sure that you understand the margin that your product can potentially produce? What's even more important than measuring your success and setting performance metrics is to set target metrics. That can be super uncomfortable to try and predict the future about your product, but it's so important. When you set target metrics, going through that exercise will help you understand what are the different failure points of your business. And then at the end of your trial, at the end of building your MVP, instead of just having one data point of this is what our MAU was, monthly active users, you have multiple data points of this is what our MAU was, and this is what our target MAU was, and this is the difference of why we didn't reach the target. It's very important to set target metrics in advance of your customer trials. And then finally, what's your unfair advantage? So you've got your unique value proposition, your differentiation. How is that differentiation durable? A lot of times I push our incubation teams to think about, why are we building something that our competitors could just easily copy us? Or why are we building something that a startup could potentially move faster and quicker at? What is our competitive moat that's durable? How can this be something that is a uniquely product that we can reach this customer segmentation? So making sure that you can build something that you think is durable and you have a lasting competitive moat is extremely important. So now that you've taken a holistic look at your business from left to right, you're now ready to identify the different assumptions that you need to make sure that you measure as you build your MVP, and go from the business idea to the solution to now reanalyzing the business once again after you've done your MVP. Thank you.
So, g'day, I am Baden Parr from ProTag.
Tyrell from Team ProTag. We competed in the Imagine Cup last year.
Let's learn a little bit more with Team ProTag.
ProTag is a smart sort of Fitbit sensor for cattle, and we're looking to be the most advanced cattle tracking AirTag in the world.
We had an amazing experience at the Imagine Cup. We got a lot out of it in terms of mentorship that made us really look at our product and pull it apart and put it back together into a way that eventually, turned into a business.
After Imagine Cup, the publicity in New Zealand, sprungboard us. We've got people working on ProTag now from all around the world, and it's kind of skyrocketed from an idea that we were working on.
We ended up deploying around 50 tags to a trial farm. We've basically taken that and we've pulled it apart, and we've been redesigning it over the last few months. We'll be sending off that design and getting it built, and then we can put those prototypes to use and then really start to refine things.
It feels pretty amazing to tackle a problem that does make a difference to farmers firstly, and then the world as a whole.
I love how you can make a positive impact on the creativity and the skills that you have and see that come to fruition in the world.
Hey, hello everyone. My name is Bruno Capuano. I'm here in Canada, not Canadian, not in the accent. It's a long story, but hey, super happy to talk with you about the Founders Hub, because we've seen so many cool ideas, and let me show you what do we have, the program that we have to basically support your idea. This is a very fast pitch, but the whole idea of the Founders Hub, that this is a program that we want to be with you, we want to help you to build, to grow with your idea, your company, and more at any stage. You can get up to $150,000 of Azure credits, and also access to the latest AI models, AI services, and a lot of other stuff. And it's super important to know that, hey, because we talk a lot about AI, we are going to, when you apply for Founders Hub and when you get accepted to the program, you will have access to tools like Azure AI Studio, which is our main entry point to anything AI related. And my friend Carlota, she's going to show some amazing demos later about this. But it's not just about the tools. We also have all of the tools around responsible AI, models, and more. And what we really like is that every time that we talk about models and people think about GPT, which are amazing models from OpenAI, we also have other models here, like the 3.5 models, or Meta, the latest Meta 3, Llama 3.2 models. I think it was released last week. It's also here, and we have Mistral, Cohere. A lot of models are available there, so you can test, play, and build your next big idea. And sometimes, and we learned this in the past, you have a very cool idea, you have an amazing idea, but you don't know where to start. And I'm going to show you this in a demo in a couple of minutes. So we also have pre-built templates. So if you want to do, in example, a next level chat, something like ChatGPT, but connected to your own set of data, and you want to basically see how you can put it all together, we have some templates that are basically going to cover this for you. It's going to help you to use the right services, tools, and more in Azure. And they're going to be kind of a amazing starting point where you can start to build this. And hey, in just 10, 20 minutes, you can literally have these demos up and running in the cloud. And it's also not just about AI and cloud and this kind of stuff. We also want to provide you the tools that we also have at Microsoft, like Microsoft 365. If you have a company, if you are working with a couple of people, if you have a group of people working all together, or if you are starting to work all together, Outlook, Teams, PowerPoint, Excel, and more, you probably know these tools, are here to help. And they are all part of the Microsoft 365 family. And the same with Dynamics, Power Platform, and more. But as I said, it's not just about what we have. The whole idea is to help you grow your business, to help you get your stuff ready to grow, get your idea ready to really explode. That's why we have amazing relationships with hundreds of investors like iCombinator, Neo, Village, and more that are here to help you in your journey. They are great coaches. They have great advice, and they can help you in tons and tons of different ways. And when we talk about help, and I'm going to, again, I'm going fast to show the demo, we also have, as part of the Founders Hub program, access. We are going to give you access to an expert network where you can find technical advice, where you can find business advice. You're going to have internal events and training to know more about the latest and greatest, in example, around AI and other services. It's all here to give you this expert guidance for you. And the expert networks is something like this. It's part of the portal. You can find the expert, find based on your location, your language, your domain, interest, and more. It's an amazing way to have these one-to-one sessions with people that can really help. By the way, I'm part of the expert network, and I'm looking forward every time that I meet something new or I meet again with some of the teams and the people in the Founders Hub, because they are really, really amazing. And it's not just about Founders Hub. Depending on where you are, we have other programs that are going to be here to support you, like the Pegasus program, which is really, really a great way to see how these companies are starting and growing and more. So that said, we have a set of guidelines here of who can apply and who will be accepted. I don't know all of the guidelines. They are all detailed. Please read the guidelines there. But in example, if your startup is a government entity, a personal blog, or more, there are some things that you need to take care of there. So please take a look at the selection guidelines and see how you can go. And let me show you really what is the Founders Hub. So here, sorry, I have working and I've been doing some VS Code AI stuff, but this is the portal. This is what we have. And as I said, when you apply to the program, you will get a set of Azure credits and other credits that you can use. But at any time, you are going to see how much money you still have there to use. You can take a look at the benefits, which I really, really like. Like an example for me, I haven't checked and I haven't redeemed my GitHub for Enterprise. That we have up to 20 users here. This is a great way to collaborate and use. I know that a lot of people also like to have access to LinkedIn Premium Business, which is a great way to basically grow your business in LinkedIn. And there are tons of other benefits. I'm not going to go to the full list because we have a lot of amazing partnerships here that Bubble, Aranza, and more. really, it's a long list, but you can take a look about that. But as I said, if you want to build your idea and you don't know where to start, but you want to create, I don't know, a new ChatGPT connected with your data that can explode and do more, fun fact here, we just announced today a set of copilots with vision support, WhatsApp support, and more. You can grow and extend that. Hey, the templates are here to help you. So here, in example, we have a template that is built on Python, use a couple of Azure services, a GPT 3.5 model. You can upgrade and change the model to other model to basically have a chat talking with your own data. So this is kind of the things that we have here in the Founders Hub. And as I said, if you want to have some guidance, you can connect with the expert network. You can start to see people in the expert network, get paired with a tutor and more. This is a great to see what you can do. So in the main link that we have here, or if you go to imagingcup.microsoft.com, scroll a little here, and I think the first or the second, there it is. We have here a link so you can sign up and connect. And hey, I'm looking forward for these ideas, for this year's ideas, themes, and more, because someone said that Imaging Cup is probably the best week of the year in this zone. So, hey, Ellie, back to you.
My name is Humayal Chowdhury. I'm the founder of SmartArm, formerly Team SmartArm from Imagine Cup as the reigning world champions in 2018. At SmartArm, we're developing AI-powered bionic arms that can see for hand amputees. Imagine Cup was the beginning of a life-changing inflection point for us. Since then, we've built up our team. We raised our first round of venture capital funding, which has been very exciting. We've launched our product into the market, and now we're working on developing and very soon launching our next product line over here. Honestly, Imagine Cup has a very special place in my heart, and there's so much I attribute in what I'm doing today back to Imagine Cup. Being able to express that worldview through the impact that you're making, it gives you the confidence to know no matter how big or small, there's something I can do to affect change.
Hi everyone, I'm Carlotta Castelluccio. I'm a cloud advocate in Microsoft focused on AI technologies, and I'm glad to be here today to celebrate the Imagine Cup Kickoff. And especially in the next 15 minutes, I want to show you some AI technologies to help you build the next big thing. And as Bruno shared with you before, all the technologies I'm going to show you will be, included in these in the services you get for free as an Imagine Cup competitor. So let's start with generative AI, which is the core of the Imagine Cup competition, and as you know, is now everywhere we turn, re-energizing the promise of technology and transforming industries faster than we thought possible. Today, we have a real shot to revolutionize education by giving an AI-based personal tutor to every student in the world, or maybe supporting teachers in drafting lesson plans more easily. We can bring life-changing medical advice to every citizen around the world, and we can ensure people everywhere have access to essential government services. We can support academic research and sustainable initiatives to preserve the planet. We can make the world more accessible by overcoming difficulties or physical impediments with AI. In brief, we really do have the power, you really do have the power to use AI technologies at the service of humanity. And how can you achieve that? Microsoft is committed to provide you with a complete AI toolchain composed by all the platforms and services you need to build innovative AI solutions responsibly, from desktop to cloud. And maybe you can recognize in here some logos of products and services already. And either you want to use a low-code approach or a code-first experience as the one we are going to see in a minute. In fact, at the core of everything, there's the AI models, and the current models offering is very dynamic and busy, covering different needs from having, top quality performance models like GPT-4o or OpenAI o1 to having cheaper options with intermediate performances. And the game changer in the market are represented by the small language models like the 5.3 family, which allow to get performances not so far from top-level models, but with much lower number of training parameters, which means less latency, lower cost, and also the possibility to run these models locally. So all the models I've mentioned and a few more in the open source world are available to test for free in the GitHub models catalog. And the benefit here is that you can interact with these models without leaving GitHub, which is, the developer best friend, either in a playground or in code. And this experience is intended for a development environment only. So once you are ready to scale your application to production, you can leverage a smooth integration with the Azure AI platform to unlock the full capabilities of the models. And again, as Bruno shared with you, as an Imaging Cup competitor, you are going to have Azure credits to do that. But let's see this in practice with a demo. So let me quickly jump on my browser page, because if you go on github.com/marketplace/models, you are going to get the models catalog, the GitHub models catalog I mentioned before, and you can explore this catalog in the GitHub marketplace. And this includes a selection of best-in-class models from several providers, both open source and proprietary, such as Microsoft Research, OpenAI, you get Cohere, Llama, and so on and so forth. And you have, of course, some filters in here that you can use to help you in the selection process. Or you can just click on one of the models and get to know your model better. In here, we have, for example, GPT-4o, which is the most advanced multimodal model in the GPT family, capable of handling a combination of text and image inputs. And when you click on a model, you will get what we call a model card, including useful information and benchmarks to get to know the model. Another thing you can do is you can click on the playground button in here to try it out with some prompts for free. For example, you also have some pre-suggested prompts, so you can easily interact with the model in a UI. Now, note that if you go into, if you follow this path right now and go in here in the playground, you might be not able to access the playground directly. You might be redirected to a web page to join the wait list. To be able to access the playground and all the features that I'm going to show you. But don't worry, just fill in the form with the details, join the wait list, and you will be able eventually to access these models. Now, being able to interact with the models in the playground is great, but the best thing for me is really getting an easy entry point for a CodeFest experience that I can then use as a starting point for my own project. And that's possible by simply clicking on the Get Started green button in here, and then selecting your favorite language. I'm a Python person, so I'm going with Python. And you get a getting started step-by-step tutorial or some instructions to create a basic sample able to interact with the selected model in the selected language. Now, not that you don't need to, deploy the model anywhere or doing any other pre-steps. And also all of these comes for free with a free tier rate limit, of course, but we're going to talk about this in a minute. But there's an even easier way to start, which is using GitHub Codespace. For those of you who are not familiar with Codespace, it's a dev container running on the cloud with the set of dependencies and requirements already configured for you. And creating a Codespace is a one-click experience. So you just click on the green button in here, Run Codespaces, and you get your dev container running on the cloud. I've already launched my GitHub code spaces in here, as you can see, which comes attached with Visual Studio Code as default IDE. It opens in here a repository including lots of templates and samples for you to get started with GitHub models. Especially, you can note that in here you have some samples in both JavaScript and Python languages, and then you have another folder which is named Cookbooks, where you get some more advanced Python examples. But for this demo, let's start with some Python samples using the Azure AI inference, and especially I would like to start with the basic, the basics, so the basic script. And there's a few things that I want to highlight in this script. First of all, it is using the Azure AI Inference SDK, which enables to unify the way we interact with different models across different providers by providing a single endpoint that you can see in here, which is, you know, the same across different model providers, and a model name parameter that we can set to the model we want to interact with to easily switch from one model to another. And this script in particular is using GPT-4o Mini, which is a lighter version of the model we have seen before in the playground. This script is also using a GitHub token for authentication that is automatically configured for you when you're using these samples in GitHub code space. And then the other thing I want to highlight is that in this script, we are going to send to the model a prompt, which is composed by a system message defining an assistant persona. In this case, you are a helpful assistant. And then a user query. It's a question in this case: what is the capital of France? Now, let's run the script by just doing Python basic.py. And this will interact with the model and get a response to our question. What is the capital of France? The capital of France is Paris. Nice, but we said that, you know, we have a unified endpoint to talk to different models. So let's change these models to another one. For example, from another provider, which is Meta. And then let's run again the script. As you can see, I've got in a second I've got a new response. This time I've got response from a different model, but of course the response is the same. The capital of France is Paris. And then the other thing I want to showcase to you, since Meta Llama is popular for being multi-language, I would like to translate this prompt into Italian. I'm Italian, so I'm going to go with Italian. So let's translate the system message first, and then the question in here in Italian. Let's save and run the script again to get a response. And as you can see, I'm getting a response in Italian, which is, of course, always the same, but in a different language. Nice. What else? What else we can do? Let's do one step further, because we say that GPT-4o is a multimodal model, which means that it is able to, you know, interact with the users using multiple interfaces and multiple data format. So let's do one step further and pass as input to the model not just a text, but also an image content. And specifically in here, we're using this sample image of a picture of a cute dog here, and we are asking what's in this image, and we are using again GPT-4o Mini. So this time, let's run this other script to get a response. And as you can see in here, I'm getting a description of the image. Cool. So this is an example of multimodal interaction. So as you can see, this is definitely a great way to get started playing with different models and prompts in less than 10 minutes and for free. Of course, as we mentioned before, the free tier comes with a rate limit, which means that it's intended to be used in a development environment. For use beyond those limits and to bring your application to scale, you must provision resources from an Azure account, leveraging models available in the Azure AI platform through a pay-as-you-go subscription. And again, as in Magic App competitor, you will have Azure credits to leverage, so it will be free for you. However, the good news is that to switch from GitHub models to your own model deployment in Azure, there's almost no changes required to your code. Let's take a look. So in Azure AI Studio, which is a web portal that brings together all the Azure AI-related services into a single unified development environment, I've already provisioned my Azure AI services. And you can simply access the Azure AI portal by going on by navigating to ai.azure.com. But you will need an Azure account to, access the majority of features. And the other thing to work in Azure AI Studio is you need to create an Azure AI Hub, which is basically a collaborative workspace for your AI solution. I already have a hub in here since we have just a few minutes. I also have a project inside the hub. And in this project, I have created a deployment. So I have deployed a model, an instance of 5.3.5 Vision Instruct model, which is a small language model of the 5.3 family developed by Microsoft Research. And it is, it is dedicated to vision task. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use now this endpoint and of course the associated key to get a response. So I'm going to use a different model, which is a model deployed in my Azure subscription. And I want to show you that the changes we need to do to the code are very minimal. So first of all, we need to import the environment variables, because in the environment variables, I have specified my key. And then instead of the token in here, I'm going to use the key associated to my model endpoint. Of course, the endpoint will be different. I have my own endpoint now of my own model, which is 5.3.5 Vision. I don't need anymore to specify the model name because it is already specified in the endpoint. So I don't need these anymore in here. And for authentication, I'm going to use the key instead of the token. So that's you see that's the kind of changes you need to do to your code, very minimal. And then if we run again the same script, this time we are going to get a response from a different model. So we get a different response, which is which is not really what I wanted to show you, but again, it's something that happened with a large language model, especially with prompts very small and like the one we are using as sample, because they are non-deterministic. So for the same prompt, you can get different response. So if I run these again, I will get a different response. Hopefully, what I would like to show you. Yes, I'm going to. I've got this time what I've asked for. So the description of the image again of my cute dog picture. And that's it for my demo today. I just want to quickly go again on the slide deck to wrap up and also talk a little bit about AI safety, because as you have seen, the endpoint we have used for the 5.3.5 model, it was a unique endpoint pointing to a resource in my Azure subscription. So no one else has access to this endpoint. And when I say that you need the Azure cloud to scale your application, this means that in a production environment, you need to rely on enterprise built-in features for security and governance, which are built in Azure. And especially with generative AI, with great powers come great responsibilities. So there's new risk associated to these technologies. And in the fast-paced AI landscape, AI safety isn't only a priority, but it's a necessity. And AI safety means actioning of our responsible AI principles. Now, what you see in this deck is the Microsoft Responsible AI Framework that we use internally to ensure that we are building, deploying, and using AI with safety, security, and privacy at the center. But Microsoft is also committed to help customers use our own product responsibly. So again, as Magic Cup competitors, as our Founders Hub, or if you are in the Founders Hub network, you will get mentorship, and you can get mentorship around responsible AI matter as well. And responsible AI and AI safety as a whole is so key in your solution and brand success that I really encourage you to think about AI safety from the beginning, so from the ideation phase. So just to wrap up, I want to recall what we have seen today. We have seen the GitHub Models catalog that you can use to ideate and experiment with generative AI models. And we also have seen Azure AI Studio that you can use to scale and safeguard your AI application in Azure. And that's all from my side. So we'll hand over to Ellie again. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlotta. That was awesome. And just on the responsible AI note, for all competitors, if you go into our judging criteria, you'll see a specific call out around responsible AI. So like Carlotta was saying, it's something that we want you to be thinking about from the beginning. And I also want to say a quick thank you to Nikki, to Bruno, again, to Carlotta, our panelists. It's been a fantastic series of smaller sessions here, really giving you what you need to know to start your competition journey and be successful for the Imagine Cup. And I'm really excited to be able to feature what sessions come after this. We started our Student Innovator Series with the Imagine Cup Kickoff, and we have a full set of additional events here for you. We're really excited to have our Gold Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors hosting that next level down into some of this more technical content. So as you think about building out your MVP, you've seen what Carlotta's demoed here today. Check out these different events that we have here. They're all linked with details on our series page, which you can get to from aka.ms Student Innovator Series. And we're also really excited to share with you at the end of this month a specific Microsoft for Startups Founders Hub Welcome Day for students, for Magic Cup competitors. You saw Bruno's demo and overview of Founders Hub and the different benefits that it has available to you. We'll dig deeper into Founders Hub and look at how you can activate those benefits, look at some of those quick start templates for you getting ready to build out your MVP and submit to the Imagine Cup MVP round come January. So with that, again, really excited that the Global Student Startup Competition is here. We've been, as we wrapped up in May with our 2024 World Champion and worked to bring the 2025 competition to you over the past several months, really excited about this opportunity for you all to be able to accelerate your growth, your startup's growth in the Imagine Cup. You heard from panelists today about how much support and mentorship and how much of an acceleration this experience was for them, as well as tips and tricks that you can incorporate along the way, and what some of those benefits are, right? Looking at the ideation process that we have for you, as well as Founders Hub and everything within Azure AI. And so we're so excited to see what you will bring to this year's competition. Again, just a little bit of reminders, the competition is open to students at least 18 years of age in accredited educational institutions. You can find all of our list of eligibility criteria in our rules and regulations, but you should be working on an early stage startup. So we have some specifics in there around funding. But what's next? Register now. We have the QR code as well as the AK there, ak.ms Imagine Cup Kickoff. Start today, register now, get started on that idea. We have lean canvas templates for you to download, spend that 15 to 20 minutes thinking about that idea, iterate, submit that to us, be eligible to get feedback. And then we also just posted our competition launch blog earlier today as well, just a few hours ago. So we have the link there for you. Check out that blog, learn more about the competition, what's in store for this year. Great recap of some of the items that you've heard here, and stay up to date with us. Follow us along on social, on our blog, on our website, and we'll continue to post out relevant information about this year's competition. So thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
All right. Thank you, Allie. Thank you to all of our speakers and panelists. Thank you all for joining. It was an excellent session. If you have any feedback, we would love to hear what you have to say. So feel free to give that to us at the link on the screen. And you want to reference the event code, which is 23604. Once again, thanks, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.